What is up? So today I'm planning to head up to Power Island with the Seaplane, which is a county-owned island park in Grand Traverse Bay. It's actually like a tropical island in Lake Michigan, essentially. Grand Traverse Bay being a part of Lake Michigan. I've wanted to get up there since I learned that it was an island because it seemed like an ideal spot to fly a seaplane. It's actually kind of tricky to get into Grand Traverse Bay because it's a huge body of water and the island is on the east side of the bay, which means the bay has a big fetch. There's a lot of water that's exposed to the prevailing wind, which makes big waves if you have a westerly wind, which is common in West Michigan. So I kind of realized if I want to do sort of these seaplane adventures, I need to plan better for them and I need to leave some flexibility. So if I look out for the week-long forecast and the weather looks great on Wednesday, it looks great on Tuesday, I need to allot time in my schedule to make that happen. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. The weather looks perfect today. It's about an hour and a half up there. We have a little bit of a tailwind and I'm excited. Let's go.
Sparta traffic, Searey 147 Delta Kilo, departing runway 25, exiting the area to the north, Sparta. Sparta traffic, Searey 7 Delta Kilo, departing the area to the north, Sparta.
The Searey isn't the quickest, but it's still only an hour and a half up to the Traverse City area, and it's like 27 bucks in fuel at 5 gallons per hour, which is pretty sweet. And after like an hour, I'm calling up Traverse City Tower to cross their Delta.
Traverse City Tower, Searey November 147 Delta Kilo. We're just looking to transit the airspace south to north 2600.
And our departure for Traverse 4387.
Number 7 Delta Kilo, say again.
7 Delta Kilo, we'd just like to transit the airspace south to north 2700, currently about 8 southwest of the field.
Number 7 Delta Kilo, transition to Class Delta airspace at or above 2700.
At or above 2700, crossing south to north, 7 Delta Kilo.
And now with the bay underneath me and the island visible, I make a couple circles around the island at 1,000+ feet to make sure that I have all the information necessary to make a safe landing. I'm looking at the waves, I'm looking at the boats on the island, I'm looking at the boats around the island, and I'm looking at the streaks on the water that tell me where the wind is coming from and how strong it is. And I'm also looking through the water because it's so clear to look for obstacles in my area that I want to beach, like all these underwater rocks on the east side.
All right, water landing, gears up for a water landing. Offshore water landing.
Minimum. Select landing mode. Water landing, okay.
And so the wind seems to be as forecast, which is about 5 knots from the northeast, which is pretty ideal for landing here because of where the terrain is and the island and how much water there is. So it's not super wavy, which is exactly what I want. There's some dissipating boat wakes there, so I kind of hold it off until I'm past them and then set it down, and it was, not my worst at all, by far.
All right, in Grand Traverse Bay off Power Island, water is warm as hell.
And then when I was flying above, and earlier I checked it out on Google Maps too, there's a sandy point here and a couple other sandy spots that I could probably pull into, one of which was on Bassett Island, but that looked wavier today. So I do my prairie dog thing and take a look at the water. I go down to 1 mag so I have a little less forward thrust, and then shut the whole thing down and glide the rest of the way, while being on the lookout for like any debris or rocks or any other thing, getting ready to jump out as quick as possible. And yeah, you're gonna go wet here, but I'm wearing my swimsuit. The water's beautiful, clear, and nice. It's the reason I'm here. And honestly, I've been wearing my swimsuit now like every day for the past 4 weeks, other than a couple days for work, which is exactly what I want to do. Once the power's off, you really don't have any directional control, so you have to move fast. The wind, current, anything can move you around. Real good seaplane pilots can just back them in amazingly, which I can't do, but I'll get there.
I didn't actually know this place existed until after I got the seaplane, which is completely bananas because I've been coming to Traverse City for legitimately 40 years. We drive through here all the time, and I always thought that this piece of land was actually part of the Mission Peninsula, but it's not. It's an island, and you can camp here. There's fire rings, there's a little fire pit, there's an American flag, there's a bunch of great spots to beach. these 2 picnic tables that I'm sitting on. I just had dense bean salad for lunch. Like, what a rad little place. Last year, I'd actually booked a campsite here to camp, to fly the seaplane in and camp and have the best night ever. But I think I was probably a little bit too premature, both on my seaplane skills, my seaplane preparedness, but also I ended up having to work. I had to go to Pikes Peak and shoot Pikes Peak. So I just abandoned that campsite, just gave the city $50 for that and didn't go. But in retrospect, it's fine because I needed to correct a lot of leaks on the seaplane. I needed to get better with my rough water skills because even though this is kind of a sheltered area, it's still Lake Michigan. There's a lot of big boat wakes. There's a lot of big waves. And then I've been trying to get here ever since. It seems like the simplest thing. People boat out here every day, but it's pretty sick to fly your own seaplane from home and be on this island eating lunch in an hour and a half. Like, that's pretty sick. That's exactly what I want to do with my life and where I want to be. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. Let's go explore. Take a little walk into Power Island here and get to the other side of this little point and then do some quick swimming. So Power Island used to be, quick little history lesson. Power Island at one time was owned by Henry Ford. It was owned by Henry Ford. Before Henry owned it, it was first named Island Number 10. It was also known as Hawk Island, Eagle Island, and then Hog Island because of all the hogs that made their way over from the mainland. The island was purchased by the Hall family in the 1870s and renamed Marion Island after the youngest daughter. Henry Ford purchased the island a bit later from the Hall family and brought a number of important guests out to visit. Dudes like Thomas Edison, Babe Ruth, Woodrow Wilson, Teddy Roosevelt. Bassett Island, which is connected to Power Island, also had a 2-story dance hall at one point, which is pretty neat. And then in the 70s, after some dispute with developers who wanted to build a number of cabins on the island was acquired by the Nature Conservancy. It was then eventually given to Grand Traverse County for the preservation and enjoyment for all, which is sweet because it's a really nice spot. There's hiking trails, there's two little vaults, toilets, grills. I want to say there's like 15, 16 campsites, and it's a really nice spot. So check this out. All right, I've wanted to jump in here for a while. All right, that's something that I've wanted to do for 2.5 years, 3 years since I bought the seaplane. I bought it so I could fly out to unique spots and I could get there with my schedule. So I could jump off the dock on Power Island on an afternoon and still be back in time for dinner and still do work in the morning. And it feels really good to be out there and do that. It feels great. This is a rad spot. What an amazing little spot. Being able to cruise your seaplane out here or your boat. These people actually took a like inflatable Zodiac. So you get out here, have a nice afternoon. In my scenario, I took the seaplane, but honestly, it didn't cost any more than driving. It actually would have cost more to drive out here and rent a boat, or to even drive out here with my own boat. No matter what, if I was towing, it would have cost more. Really nice area. All right, I've been up here, I don't know, like 4 hours now. I'm gonna get back in the plane, get that thing booted up, hopefully cruise back down south. I'm gonna have to get fuel, I think. Get home, have dinner with the wife, have hammock night. And that's kind of the beauty of the seaplane. It's still a regular day, but it's a spectacular day. Clear prop!
All right, this is the biggest bummer of the Searey. Your motor stays so cold out there without a cowl that actually going to take a while to get this thing warmed up. Quite a while, actually, probably 10, 15 minutes. And there's some pretty decent boat wakes out here, so I'm just going to do some circles. I'm having like I'm having the time of my life right now. I'm like not even exaggerating. I just flew out to this island. There's boat people that are hyped. I'm hyped. Had some nice lunch. What a place. What a place. 92 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna spin around here. I just don't want to get too far out into the open bay for takeoff. I like being sheltered by the island here. Up CHTs are good. Oh, pressure is good. Gear is up for a water takeoff. Alrighty, that was a pretty sweet day, honestly. Like, headed home, got a little bit of a tailwind doing 102 ground speed. No, 100 ground speed. Go to 122.8, come up to Cadillac here. Man, Michigan has all these sweet spots. There's like these islands, kind of remote runways, beaches, like all these areas that I love to get to. Some of them I've been to before with our camper van or even like backpacking way back in the day. But how sick would it be to be able to leave your house, go up there, do your thing, have a little day of adventure, and come back home and still have a day left? Like, not have that transit time. And this seaplane isn't obviously like the fastest thing at all, but being able to do 100 miles an hour direct to Power Island versus driving to Traverse City, securing a boat, boating out to Power Island, and then coming back, like it makes it possible versus not possible. I would never go to Power Island unless it was like we're planning a trip, like we're gonna be in Traverse City, oh, we should rent a boat one day and then go out to the island. And because of this plane, because of this like weird fiberglass in tube rag boat thing, I can be up there and back in an afternoon. I left my house at 11:50 a.m. after my wife came home for lunch, went up, did my pre-flight, flew up there. I had to land also because I spilled my LaCroix all over myself and thought I had a fuel leak or something. Landed, got up to the island, had lunch there, went swimming, talked to a bunch of boating enthusiasts, did a little hike, looked for some rocks, and I'm gonna be home by, I'll be home by 7 o'clock. How sick is that? That's like the sickest thing I could possibly think of. It's exactly why I wanted to have a seaplane. Alright, and since I get these comments all the time on the post, you can totally do this. Like, there's no reason you can't. You don't need to be a rich dude to do this. This plane, I paid 80,000 bucks for it, which is the same price as a nice F-150 or like an Expedition or something, or a Chevy Silverado. It costs completely all in hangar, insurance, fuel, maintenance, etc. roughly $50 to $60 an hour to fly it, which means that this trip to the north side of the Lower Peninsula from my house and back to Annan Island was about $150 total. So it's not the cheapest thing of all time for sure, but dude, you get a large pizza from Pizza Hut, the dang thing's 50 bucks, and I just had a whole day on an island for 150. So what are you waiting for? This isn't unobtainable.
7 Searey 7 over kilo, turning final 25, number 2, Sparta.
Alpha traffic, 129 uniform, we're at station runway 36, Alpha traffic. Cessna 38 Bravo, clear the active Sparta.
Select
Traffic to Century Hotel, left downwind.